no one's asking why. The world keeps spinning, no one seems to care. Lost in the noise, a silent prayer. Does anyone out there even hear the cry? I'm just a voice in the wind, but I'll keep on screaming, 'cause someone's missing. I won't stop dreaming.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Barb.
Hi,
Hi.
Sarah.
Hi.
Hi. What I'll do, I'm going to change this around a little bit because I think I have. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so welcome everyone. We have quite a show today. What we're going to talk about is what it feels like to be a parent of the missing, to have a child that has went missing and found or still missing. The raw emotions, how they feel. I'm going to give them the platform to just explain what it feels like. The judgment, the stares, the whispers, the pointing fingers, the lies, the scamming, the grifting, all of it. So, Sarah, I will let you have the platform. I will mute, and you are more than welcome to say anything that you feel that you need to.
Well, initially it's a shock. Even this far in, it doesn't feel real. Um, and it's like a loss, an emptiness, and you can be surrounded by hundreds of people, but it's not that person. And missing them is just the worst part of your day to day, everything that they would be involved in, that they're not there anymore. Um, that's the hardest, to deal with that. And you're trying to put all your energy and concentration on, you know, um, new ways or new I can't think of the word.
I know what.
Um, yeah,
So did they
different
offer you?
options.
Did they offer you any resources? Anything like when you found out that Marissa was missing, did they offer you any kind of empathy and in anything, like resources? Here's a packet. This is what you do next. Anything at all?
No, I've learned as I've went. I've figured things out as I've went, and I didn't even know what a podcast was before Marissa went missing, and then I started doing those as a resource.
Right.
No, nobody offered anything. I just kind of figured it out as I went, and just started getting um, on Facebook and investigating these people, and reaching out to groups and nonprofit organizations, and things
Right.
like that. Because it's you can't really just put out flyers and then be done. There's
Oh,
so
sure.
much
Yeah,
more
it's a
about it.
process. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So you felt alone, didn't you?
Yeah, I felt like my whole family's counting on me to figure out things, because nobody really knows what to do. So um, you've kind of got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and
Sure.
if I'm not doing something most of the time pertaining to finding Marissa, I feel kind of helpless, and it's always like, what do I do next? What do I do next?
And they didn't give you any numbers that you could contact for support, maybe even direct you toward a therapist or some kind of mediator that could talk to you and give you any kind of which way to go, any kind of directions, anything? Nothing?
No, I've did that on my own. I'm the one always reaching out to the detective and trying to
Right.
figure out where he's at in the case and what's going on. Nonprofits, and what happens, a lot of people contact you, but most of the time they're just,
Yeah.
giving you false hope.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about this one guy that thought he was going to scam. The scammer guy that this man
Yeah.
started a GoFundMe saying that he was her PI. It was like $50,000, wasn't it, Sarah? It was a lot.
He was saying that this was to help find Marissa, to help pay my bills, things like that. And when I think it, I was shocked because um, none of that was true. And what's scary is that I had this man in my house, and I
Oh,
had
so
been
you
out in
met
the
him.
woods,
You have met him then.
and I had been out in the woods with this man searching, and
Oh my God. Mm.
it's really, really, really creepy. And when he had said, if I find Marissa, I'm not letting anybody know. At that point, I was just like, okay, this
Wow.
something really off about this guy. Um, and a lot of things, and he would be on Facebook with like flashy cars and a lot of jewelry, but he would be
Oh,
messaging me, asking me for money, and saying that he had been looking for her from the beginning, and I
oh
owed
my
him.
God.
He never actually, I never actually knew about him until June of last summer.
Oh my goodness. That's scary. You were out there searching with him even. And see
Yeah,
that that's why I wanted to bring this to light. People need to see this the raw behind the scenes stuff. Like everyone comes to YouTube and we watch all of this, but we don't see the emotion. We don't see you guys being alone and like you just the scammers, the grifters, the pointing fingers, the judgment, all of this. So thank you so much for joining me today. I was trying to think of something I could do to help families, and I don't know. This is just like this is what I think. Sometimes people need to see the bad before they point fingers. You know, that's so
yeah,
scary. I'm so glad you're okay because he could have
and
been
yeah.
anyone.
People would presume as if I were just like absent minded and just letting people in and giving them information, but it was really out of not being experienced in this and out of desperation because he had said he was an ex law enforcement and he had all these resources, and he had gotten fired for taking bullets and guns up to the White House area, and
Oh my! Mm,
he had a false name. And even though he's not in law enforcement anymore, he had been let go, he still
yeah.
carries around his badge, and you know, as if he really is, in law enforcement.
And see, that's the problem. This is what scares me because missing families are so vulnerable. They are so vulnerable to anybody that will help, which comes desperation. And when a parent becomes desperate for anyone's help, they will look at it for anyone, whether it be bargaining with Satan himself. It doesn't matter if it'll bring their child home. And I think that people really need to see the mental part of what you guys go through every single day. So can we you were talking about like every time someone sees you. Remember we discussed that. You want to go into that like every time someone sees you, what they do.
Oh God. Well, my doctor just diagnosed me a few weeks ago with agoraphobia, with panic attacks.
Mhm.
Um, and that's because I was just skipping so many doctor's appointments. And
Yep.
um,
Yep.
basically, um, I was at the grocery store the other day, and a woman comes and she's following me around, and she says, "Are you Marissa Carmichael's mom?" And I said, "Yeah." And then she pulls her phone out and she said, "I'm not a psychic, but check this area and that area." And then there's other people that are just wanting to say, "Well, don't you think it's been so long? She's probably not alive anymore. And do you think this guy this?" And they come up with all of their scenarios and what they
And
think happened.
how does that make
And
you feel, Sarah? Every time somebody does that, how do you feel at that moment?
it's a panic because I get like panicky because when I'm just trying to get my stuff and get home, and I don't want to, I'm so emotionally vulnerable that I don't want to um break down and be in public and having people stare, and it's just like I'm bombarded constantly. And people will say, "Well, oh, I know how you feel," and
But
it's like, no,
they don't.
no,
Does that
they're
make you
not
angry?
actually.
That
Yeah,
that made me
and
so angry when my
I
son
just
passed, I
really
got
don't know.
angry.
Yeah, I just really don't know what to say a lot of the times. Um,
Right. Right.
so I just try to keep it as short as I can, and keep on about my business as much as I can. But I really
Sure.
can't go anywhere without somebody asking me, "Is there anything new? Has she been found?" Or People will contact me constantly and say, well, there was a body found here. So
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
constantly calling and putting in descriptions to make sure that it's not Marissa.
And see, every time you hear that, how did like your heart has to just sink. I'm not trying to like bring that up.
It
I
does.
want these people to
It
see the
it gives
emotion.
me a panic. Yeah, it gives me a panic, and
Right.
um, it's
I'm so
like
sorry.
your
That's terrible.
stomach is in your throat.
Yeah, yeah, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. And I don't see that's it. I don't think people fully understand.
Yeah,
Have you gotten
I
let
didn't even go to the Christmas parade this year with my grandkids
oh,
because so many people would probably come up to me, and I wouldn't want them to give their scenarios or say anything in front of my grandkids or upset them. So I just kind of, um, and luckily, with the school, when I go to their games and stuff, they know the situation because Marissa went to that school her whole life, and so that's one safe place where kind of nobody's really hounding me. But
great.
anywhere
That's good.
public, yeah, I physically get sick, and if I have to go out, if I know I have to go out somewhere, I just physically start to get sick because I just don't want to hear. And it is on social media too, Messenger and
Oh yeah,
Messenger.
that's a
It's
big
constant.
problem, isn't it? Do you so has
Yeah,
anyone come to you besides that guy? Like, do you just constantly get messages or even rumors? How let's talk about rumors. How people in small town, not even small towns, but just the rumor mill that hurts the family.
oh yeah, there's so many rumors. There's a whole group that is dedicated to spreading rumors about Marissa, about the family. I don't watch them anymore. I'm actually blocked from the group, and it has my daughter's picture and name for the group, and I'm blocked. Any family member, any friends, we're all blocked because when they try to dispute the rumors, um, they get blocked immediately. There's so many
Uh-huh.
crazy rumors.
That's a common thing on social media now is
Yeah,
people like to just go after vulnerable families and just try to tear up what's left of them. And
yes.
I just can't sit here anymore and watch it. I can't, and
My
I don't
oldest
know how to change it. I'm
my
trying.
oldest granddaughter has seen some of these videos on YouTube, and has been like, Nana, that's not true, and that's not true. And I said, honey, I don't watch these videos. Please don't. And we've had to monitor more of what they can, because they're wanting answers. And so they'll go, on social media. My oldest granddaughter's a little detective, so she tries to do her own
Oh, just
finding
like
out
her
things.
grandma. Just like her grandma.
Yeah,
You're quite the detective yourself, Sarah.
yeah. I've tried. I've never been a snooper, but you can really get a lot off the internet, and
Yep.
you
Too
can
much.
really find out a lot of things.
Right, right. So has I don't has anyone like pointed fingers towards you? Have you had to go through all of that where they automatically point fingers at you or your family or someone you know
Yeah,
was innocent? How does
yeah.
that work? How did that make you feel?
When I stopped like communicating or giving out information, it automatically, that I sold my daughter, that I traded her for drugs, that I trafficked her, that I buried her in my backyard. Um, just yeah, and then even her sister, her dad, her kid's father, we've all been had the fingers pointed at us.
And for no good reason, just because, just to tear
Just,
the case apart, just for
yeah,
let me say
I
clicks
don't
and views.
hinder the investigation really because the leader of this group, I found out, is known as the setup girl, and she's really close and stays in the motel with the two men that Marissa was with last. So I figured out that's why she kind of paints Marissa to be such a horrible person that anybody that knew her is a suspect and wanted to get rid of her. So I found out, but she's got thousands and thousands of people in her group.
Oh no. See, and that's just how it starts. That little bit like that adds up and before you know it, it's
Yeah.
gone crazy. Really.
She has detectives, looking at her too because she has sent police to my house saying that we were suicidal. She's had my no trespassing signs came and tore up, throwing trash in my yard.
Sounds like a
So
real child.
she's really got she's got the detectives' attention. And what they don't understand is when they send the police to my house and I see 3 or 4 cop cars, I automatically go into panic thinking that, oh no, they've
Right.
found something, or that sort of thing, and it just wears on my nerves so bad.
Right, 'cause I mean, chat, imagine that. Your child is missing. All of a sudden, you've got 3, 4 cop cars show up at your door. You know, instantly your heart sinks. You're like, "Oh, no, no, nope, not today, not today." And then you
Yeah,
find out it's not. But after so much of that, how much can one parent take of that? That's
yeah,
my point. We have to, as a community, find a way somehow to get resources to these missing families. I mean, think about if even if one person could have given you a folder with, I don't know, with some advocate numbers or even anything, any kind of resources, do you think that would have made you feel a little bit better in the beginning?
yeah. It may have, pointed me in the right direction instead of
Right.
me trying to figure it out on my own.
Because I think that's kind of what I want to try to do. I try to want to get some resources together and try to figure out how to enforce this to where law enforcement has to hand over at least a folder of resources in a direction that a missing family has to go through, to find their loved one. And I think to leave them with nothing. Did
Yeah,
did they at least have a little bit of sympathy for you, or like did you have to fight with them?
well, no, the detective, and I've called meetings with him to speak to him, and I speak to him on the phone. But he basically leaves me with more questions than what I initially have. He'll say, "This is what I'm doing now, and I'm getting warrants for this and this," but he never, follows up with what happened. Was there, any help with that? What did the warrants turn out to be? And yeah, I mean, I don't know, and this might sound crazy, but I just feel like maybe if it was a female detective that had children, maybe they would understand a little more.
Right, right. Maybe have that mothering instinct to guide you a little bit. But see, it should be that way. It should be a thing they should have to do, I think. I think if I'm not sure how I could even make it happen, but I really want to try that. I really want to try to enforce these every department for a missing person to at least have a folder of resources to hand each family. I don't think that's too much to ask as a taxpayer to any of us that we should be able to be given a direction to even start if we have a missing child or a missing whatever,
Yeah,
missing aunt, uncle, whatever,
yeah.
whoever reports them, I think should
And
be
I'm
able to
lucky
have a resource.
there have been some good people that have reached out and kind of leaded me in certain directions, like with the getting her in the NamUs database. Um,
Yes, yeah, I'm
I
glad that we
submitted
finally
my
got her in there.
DNA. I did
Yes,
submit my DNA in case anything's found, and that
excellent.
was shorten the time of answers.
Right,
Um, Things like that. And I've requested dogs, they couldn't do it. I requested water search, they couldn't do it. I requested lie detector, just to see where he knows that he's being, deceitful, and kind
right.
of shut down everything.
Do they stay in contact with you? Like, how often do you get to speak with them?
I reach out to the detective at least once a week.
And he answers each week?
Yeah, he answers, and he'll tell me,
Excellent.
he's telling me now that they're re-questioning people, and it's right now they're talking, but they're telling different stories.
Right, right. Hmm. So what else can you tell us that we could use? Because we air this stuff and we do missing cases, but I want to hear from you how we as creators can help you as a missing family, having a missing loved one. What could we do better to help make it easier for you?
Um, hmm, I'm not, I'm where my lack of it's with the police that is really, because when I've been out searching, I've called the police, to, hey, can I come and search in this area? And some of the police officers didn't even know about Marissa
Oh
from
my
Greensboro.
goodness. Wow.
And so, and then the cops came here. Marissa had a failure to appear on a traffic thing, and they came here with a warrant to arrest her about a
Oh my
month ago. And it's like, wow, do you not even know? Like, how do y'all not even know? And y'all work in the department with the detectives.
how sad is that, right? That is wow, Sarah.
And I said, if
Mm.
you can find her quicker on a warrant than her as a missing person, please go to Greensboro and start there.
Right, go find her. Go find her
Yeah,
for me. I've been trying for a year. Go get her, you know.
yeah, please do. Um,
Dang.
I just, I just have tried to constantly keep her name and her face out on social media and
Yeah,
through
you've done a great
shows.
job. You're doing great.
Uh, and then there's times where I've run out of ideas, and I just those are the sleepless nights where I'm just trying to think what my fear is being a cold case and years go on and nothing, happens.
So, when it comes to the misinformation, how people like to say something is wrong on stuff and all this misinformation, that really hurts the case, doesn't it?
Yes, and I did a show. It just came out earlier this week. A major show that gets millions of views. They came out from California, and it took about 6 hours to do the. It's like a Dateline sort of thing. I think it's called True Crime News or something.
Uh-huh.
And the comments when I watched the video, the show was really good, but the comments were like, "Why would she get in a car with a stranger?" And it's like the things they don't know is that something had been put in her drink at the club, and when she called 911, it wasn't just alcohol. She was under the influence of something I've never heard before. And they'll, say things like that, and it's like you get a little tiny bit of information, and then they just add and add and add on things that are
And
not true.
then that leads you on another false lead. So it just takes you in a circle. So you guys are
Yeah,
just feeling like you're in a circle. Everything that you think
yeah,
you get a lead on comes right back to nothing.
yeah. And so I've just stopped giving out unless it's a show or a podcast or a panel. I've just quit giving out any information. So they're saying, well, the detectives aren't looking, they're not working the case. They are. We're just not giving out any information because it all gets switched up, and then, like you said, misinformation is hinders the case.
Sure. Sure, definitely. It definitely does because it sends everyone in the wrong direction. How many search parties did they have out there? Do you remember or did they even have one?
We organized our own, and we still are going out from time to time, putting out new flyers. We're still
Did
going
did
out and
you ever
doing things.
get those, Sarah? Did you ever get those flyers that I mailed?
Yes, I got them this afternoon.
Okay, good, good. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to make sure that you did get those.
But yeah, we've had a protest, we've had marches, we've had prayer vigils, and then just me and my other daughter and about 10 other women. Their daughters knew Marissa and were good friends. So it would be their daughters and then the parents and sometimes the grandparent or the uncle. I don't know what the police, as far as search parties, all I know is they did go out and search where her phone had pinged off of a tower, but we never found it. The detectives never found it. But I can't count how many searches we've went on, just our group. I
Right.
don't know what the police have done as far as searching.
They haven't gotten a hold of you about, "Hey, we're gonna have a search party at whatever location," or nothing?
No, nothing.
Hmm. Had any officer ever told you you couldn't speak of something?
Um, Basically, the detective has said certain details just not to put out there.
Right,
Um,
but they didn't direct you, "You cannot." They just said, "Don't."
no,
Like,
because
okay.
the detective said that out of any missing persons case, I'm the most vocal, the most involved. And I sent him tons of screenshots of things that I found out from that night and the people that were around that night. that really kind of helps them out.
Sure, sure. I ask that because a lot of times people assume that law enforcement will say, "No, you cannot." Well, legally, we I say we because I'm retired now, but they they will say, this, and this, but we would prefer you not say this, these details, but they never should say you cannot. So know that they even when they say, "No, you can't search," which they should never, the reason for that, they can say, "I would rather you not search." And the reason for that is because they don't want you to find something that you can't not see. But at the same time, we need to understand as creators that we can't just air everything. We can't just dox addresses and homes and look around people's houses and all of that.
Yeah.
There could be children in these homes that you
Yeah.
just alerted every curve around that area how to get to. So,
The only thing that the detectives told me was to not reach out to the man driving the car, that the suspect, or not suspect, the person of interest.
of
He
course,
told me
that's not
to
safe.
not
Yeah, that's dangerous.
contact him directly.
Yeah, that would be dangerous for sure. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because that night, the way I knew who it was Marissa had tried to call me off of his number
Oh,
around 5 in the morning. And when I woke up and I realized she didn't work a double, found out she had went to the club, I started going through my phone and I seen this number, and I started texting him, questioning him. And I sent all that, and that's a good thing I saved all those with the timestamp, because he was saying Marissa was only in his car 30 minutes, but by her using his phone, she was in his car over 2 hours.
and you could prove
Um,
that.
so,
Yes, that's great,
so I
Sarah.
have his number in my phone and I have all the messages, and it is so hard to not contact him.
Of
And
course.
I've been threatened to keep my mouth shut and go away, or I'll be
Oh,
next.
nice. Oh, nice. By him?
No, by the leader of that group that
Yeah,
slanders us and
yeah.
our
I need
family.
you. After this, I'm going to need you to send me that information, if you will.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, report that group.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they
yeah.
keep changing.
Yeah.
I'm blocked, and everybody I know is blocked, and they keep changing the name of the group. But I
That's
know
okay.
the
We'll get
leader.
it shut down.
I
That's
know
all
her
right.
name and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Just send me that information. We'll get that shut down for sure. That's got to stop.
And this one lady, the leader has about 4 or 5 different aliases. She
Okay.
came in at the beginning and she was trying to help me, but when we were on a search, she had the first guy who threw Marissa out of the car. She had him on video, kind of showing him where we were at and what we were doing.
Oh,
Um,
no. Really?
so we told her she couldn't
Mm.
search with us, and I wasn't giving her no more information. And after that, she kicked me out of the group and just started saying a bunch of crazy things.
Yeah. That seems to be a common thing nowadays. I've seen that. I've heard that probably 3 times in this last week. That's sad. This stuff has to stop. It does.
Yeah,
So,
I've
Sarah,
tried.
mentally, how do you what would make it easier for you at when we're putting this stuff out? What would make it easier on your heart when we put this stuff out?
Just I'm, some of these people, you just can't get through to them. When you see somebody out in public who's going through something like this, try to be encouraging and uplifting. If you've got to stop and say something, you just can't help yourself, instead of being negative, or you know saying things like, "Well, what was Marissa doing out at a club?" Well, she's 25 years old.
Judgment. Yeah, the judgment has to stop. Who the hell are they? Sorry for cussing, but who the heck are they to judge what your daughter does
Yeah,
anyway?
like
Wait a
they've
minute.
never. Yeah.
How many 25-year-olds have not been out to a club anyway? I know when I
Right.
Yeah.
was 25 years old, I went to clubs. Didn't you guys? I don't.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can't say they've never went out for a night to a
Except for
club or
that.
a bar or a dance, and blow off some steam.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, you're 25 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It
and
is.
And then the judgment, because she does have 5 children, so what? No mom needed a break? I needed a break, and I had 2. I could imagine. I went out and had fun.
Yeah,
We are all allowed to have fun, whether we have 50
yeah.
kids or 1.
Her plans that night were to go to work, but a friend of hers is, come on, you haven't been out in a while, you haven't been out, and so she, went ahead and decided to take the night and get out and have a little bit of fun.
Well deserved. She was supposed to go to work, and she got talked into going to this club anyway, so it's not as if she had this plan. She
Yeah,
had
she
planned on
wasn't.
going to work.
She was wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt. Normally, if she went out to the club, she had a whole new outfit for that, and or so she was just kind of last minute, okay, just so her friend would, get off her back about it.
Right, right. Yep. That's so sad to think that all the judgment on the missing person. I mean, why?
Yeah.
Why?
And
What makes
I
them
tried not to read too many of the comments from the show that I did, but one of
Yeah, I
them was
wouldn't
like,
either.
"Oh, now the parent finally decides to care now that she's missing." Like
Mhm.
what?
Right.
You know, she didn't even tell me she was going to the club. She didn't want me to worry, and anytime that she would be out, I would be hounding her. So she was 25 and still lived at home. She was a mama's girl. So it's I didn't all of a sudden decide to care. I've just went 1,000% at everything as her mom. So in her being missing, I'm putting
You
every
are.
bit I've
You're
got
doing
into
great.
it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And wow, that's just it's just so much. I can't believe that parents have to go through this.
I
All of
went
this.
through that same thing. I got phone calls on the phone where people were saying, "Oh, now you're going to decide to be a mom? I've been a mom all along. I don't go
Yeah,
anywhere."
people that just get a little bit of information think they know your whole life story and just insert themselves with their opinions and their judgments. And it's like, if you've got energy to do that, why not grab some flyers and put them out for me?
Amen.
Why not? You know,
Amen to that.
Yep. Yeah,
why
for
not
sure.
do something? If you care so much, then hey, help out. Here's some, stuff I could use help with.
Well,
Yep.
and if you're going to judge me and try to make me out to be that I don't care enough for my loved one being missing and you seem to care so much, here's some flyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'll have to put my phone on do not disturb sometimes, or when people close friends want to get a hold of me, they know that if I'm not answering my phone, they'll call my other daughter's phone to get in touch with me. Because I will have to cut my phone off sometimes because it's constant. It's overwhelming.
I can tell you, Sarah, that this is a safe chat and that everyone in here right now knows there will be none of that in this chat. None. So you never have to worry about that. If anything comes in here sideways, it's removed as fast as it's put out. So never feel that way in here. You never have to worry.
Yeah,
I promise.
that's good because all the first podcasts that I did, the people from I call it the hate group, were saying a lot of nasty and mean things, and I'm trying to do the podcast, and I'm getting distracted by. I'm just shocked. In the beginning, I didn't know they would come at the family or the mother so hard.
How did that make you feel, Sarah?
Initially, it was shock,
Heartbroken? Yeah.
and then it was anger and then I kind of understood it. Y'all were trying to distract me and get my energy off of focusing on Marissa and worrying about what y'all are saying and trying to dispute what y'all are saying. So now I just completely ignore it, and it just doesn't even
Well,
get on
no,
my.
they should never allow any disrespect to anyone on the panel anyway, in my opinion, much less a mother of a missing person. So
Yeah.
in this chat, that will not happen because here you will respect the panel and respect the missing, or you just don't belong here.
And I've seen where other parents are attacked as well, and it's just like for me, it's like You heard the man on the 911 call. You seen her get in his car,
Yep.
and then she was gone. Put your
Yep.
focus on that.
Right. Right. Yeah, and see, that's it. Like, you get all these rumors, you hear all the whispers. They stop you everywhere that you go. You're trying to just keep the kids distracted away from social media, from all the misinformation, and you go on a podcast, and in that chat, a creator allows people to judge you, completely throw you off to where you're trying to talk about your daughter, and people allow that in their chat. That's sickening. I just feel like that is
Yeah.
so disrespectful.
So I had to start saying to some of the creators, yes, I do want to get on and speak on Marissa and her name out there, but what I can't deal with is the people in the background with all their judgments and all their questions that are
Hate.
uncalled for.
Yeah, when they know nothing about you or your family or Marissa. So who the hell are they to judge anyone? Really?
And and in that group, anybody that personally knows us or knows Marissa, when they're like, wait a minute, that's so far from the truth, they automatically get blocked and they get blamed. Um, they've posted people's addresses online, accusing them of hurting Marissa, which could put them in danger.
Absolutely.
Just for trying to straighten them out and tell them the truth.
Yeah. And then that puts their lives at danger, their children. Children have to go to school. Children are mean to one another. We know that. They're brutal. They're honest and brutal.
My grandchildren have had to deal with some of that, other kids at
Oh
school, and
no, really?
yeah, they have
Oh,
to deal
Sarah,
with.
I'm so sorry. How are they? Are they okay? Are they I'm sure they're struggling.
Yeah, they're doing okay. My two oldest granddaughters are the ones, they're older, so the little ones, we just tell them that mommy's lost and we're trying to find her. Um, my 8-year-old granddaughter, she was on medication, because she was having, tantrums and really doing, busting TVs and, just having outbursts. And she's now off the medication. She's doing better off of it. They're all in grief counseling. My oldest granddaughter will make videos of her mom, a bunch of different little pictures, like I do. So she and I tell her that Nana's still trying, and
Oh,
but
that's
they're
hard.
they're being distracted with the extracurriculars like
Good,
karate
good.
and basketball and cheerleading, things like that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, that's it with kids. You have to keep them distracted, and it's just so hard. Like I'm trying so hard to get this to where people can understand how you guys feel. That the emotions of it. I think what is the worst part? The judgment, the whispers, the rumors. What has been the hardest part besides the fact that Marissa's gone? But I mean, in this
Um,
whole thing, what do you
well,
wish just would have changed?
to stop slandering Marissa, I'm here to speak up for myself and defend myself. Marissa's not, and I do speak up for her, but
Yep,
slandering Marissa is the worst part. She is a victim in
she is.
this.
Yep.
So that's what bothers me the most is, the slander on her name.
Okay.
And she's not here to defend her, because if
No.
she were here, they would not be saying none of this stuff to her face.
No, and I promise you that some of those hate groups too, where they have all that chat, those people would never say that to your face. They're only keyboard warriors.
Yeah, they're
That's what
only
they do.
um the their keyboard.
Yep, they're trolls. For
Yeah, and
sure.
I didn't know this. I really had never dealt with that before. I really didn't ever know that existed.
Most of us didn't until this stuff. YouTube. Yep.
Miranda, I myself, when my son was missing, I did not know what to do either. I start well, Arctic Fox got a hold of me. I never heard of a podcast. Got rid of social media. I didn't have I mean, I had Facebook, but it was years before. And so just having to learn this stuff to get your daughter's name out is hard enough, besides being attacked by other people for who they were. They don't know who they were.
Yeah, it is. It's a distraction that's not needed.
Sarah, I should have explained a little better. Barbara Hall is the mother of Timmy Dees. Her son was missing. Was it 5 months, Barb? I think it was
Yes,
five.
he was
Yeah,
missing for 5 months.
5 months. So he was missing for 5 months, and they did find him deceased. But her situation is very similar to yours, with rumor, judgment, speculation, whispers, the lying. For hers, it involves a little bit of like lazy police work, corruption, stuff like that. Um, but that's kind of why I brought her up here too. I should have introduced you both first.
I'm
I'm
familiar
scatterbrained.
with the story. I believe it may have been through Dutch's, or I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great,
Um,
great.
yeah, so I am familiar with that, and I share her things for him on Facebook and stuff.
I share yours too because
Oh.
that's what we have to do as families because nobody understands it. You,
No,
Listen to
I
these
mean,
warriors, guys. Chat. I want you all just to listen to these two powerful
until it
women.
happens to you, there is nobody that knows that feeling. I mean, you're so grateful for the help, but until you have had a missing loved one, nobody knows that feeling.
no, and they try to say they. Oh, I understand how you feel, and I don't want to be rude and say no, you don't. But that's how I feel like no, you absolutely do not know how this feels, and you can say, well, if it were me, I would do this and I would do that, but they just don't understand. I tried to get a Ashanti alert out from Marissa, but because she wasn't still in the car, they couldn't do it. I've tried to get different things. One nonprofit actually quit searching because of the threats they were getting. People try to say I would do this and that, but it's every case is different. No, you wouldn't. You act out of desperation and despair.
You feel like you're going to lose your mind. Anybody that offers
Yes,
to help, you just grasp onto it and hope something good comes out of it.
yes,
And then you realize that the person that you are dealing with is not who you thought they were. So then you're back down to feeling like you're falling in some type of hole and you can't get you're falling and nobody's catching you is
yes.
how I describe it. It's
Yeah, it's a loss.
that
You
not
just
knowing is enough to drive a person themselves insane. You react different ways. You never know what you're going to say or do. And to be judged by others for it is just heartbreaking.
yeah, and it's like, well, if you know exactly what would work and what to do, then hey, share with me that information since you know it all. Let me in on it so I can know
Right.
what. And
Exactly.
yeah, people are just
Well,
yeah,
because you go to bed at night, you think about it all night. You're investigating even when you're sleeping. You wake up
yeah,
with it. You wake up thinking, "Oh my God, I woke up again. I got to live this nightmare all over again." I mean,
yeah,
it's enough to drive a person crazy to where
yeah,
they will. I mean, pushing him you're pushing family members over the edge that are looking for their loved ones, and there should be no judgment towards mother, father, any family members until an investigation is done because you don't know what they're feeling
no,
when
you
they're
don't,
missing.
and you can't describe. It's so hard. I found it so. If people say, well, how are you doing? I just say okay, because what else can I say? But and and they'll say, well, you must feel like this or like that, and it's like I cannot put into words what I feel or what
You
I
know
go
what
through.
I
It's just
say, Sarah? I'll tell you what to say. It makes it easier, and then they just look at you and they leave you alone. When they come up with it to you with them old faces, oh, you poor thing, and just that like I don't like those faces. I'll just be honest. When those faces would come up, oh, how are you doing? You got to be feeling this way and you're this way and everything is so bad. I can't imagine how you're going through this. I just look at them and you know what I say? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. And move on. That's, and then
Yeah,
they
I
give you
try
that look like, oh my God, how
like
could she say she's fantastic? Because I don't want to hear all the sadness. It just
yeah.
pulls you more down.
And I've never it's being approached by strangers and they know you from social media or from the news, and it's so strange. People that I've never seen before
Well,
will come and act as if
when they do that to you anymore and you just don't want them to bother you, just look at them and go, I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing? And then they just look at you and they don't say no more because they don't know what to say because they're confused on why you're saying that. Well, I'm saying
they're
that because I
expecting.
don't want to be bothered with you guys
Yeah,
judging me when you don't know the
they're
whole story.
not. Yeah, they're not expecting to hear you say I'm doing great. My other daughters told me, like, Mom, you need to be more outspoken, more, pushy with these people. It's like I just don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but I feel like maybe sometimes I do need to be a little bit more rude.
Sometimes you have to be just to get your point across.
I don't think it's being
Yeah.
rude by saying I'm fantastic because I don't want to
No,
hear
I
you
don't know.
going, oh, don't
Hard.
you feel,
Rude.
oh, you poor thing. Your life is just miserable. I've even had him say, how can you believe in God when he's allowed this to happen to your child? It has nothing to do with God. That's evil. That comes from the devil.
Yeah, that's and it's so scary. I thought Marissa was just so tough and nobody could, get to her or anything like that. But now I know the world is full of evil.
Yep, they sure are. And even the toughest, it's just such a sad thing because she is tough. She's still tough. It's just
Yeah,
we don't know what challenge she had to face at that time. So
yeah.
I'm
And
sure I'm sure she's
my
giving them hell,
anxiety is
Sarah.
so bad.
She won't lay down. I know
I
she's
don't
probably not going to take a butt whooping. So I'm sure
know.
she's
And that's
fighting.
why I feel like if they brought Sean in, the one who she got in the car with, they should have the very first day that they brought him in, stripped him down, looked for any kind of scratches, bite marks, anything, because she would have left her mark. And they didn't do that. They didn't search his car. Because we've talked about these things, and I would, hey, spit in the floorboard, pull out some hair and stick it in the seat, leave something, behind. And they they didn't do any of that. And I feel like
And
maybe a lot of evidence
we
was
we
lost.
hear that too much. We're hearing that way too much.
Yeah, it's I have to literally unplug for a few days, stay off my phone,
Right.
stay off social media, just to get a little bit of sanity, and think straight.
Of course.
Right.
Definitely.
And then you have to look strong around your grandkids.
Yes. Oh gosh. And each one of them it looks like her and acts like her, and they ask about her. Um, my 8-year-old, the one that's having a lot of trouble, she broke down at the last basketball game. I think it's because she's, seeing me and my other daughter. We're coming to all their events and we're, going and spending time with them. But uh, her mom's never with us. And I think the last one game, she kind of broke down, and my other daughter took her in the bathroom while she was crying, and because she was for mommy, and she's seeing us, but every time her mom's not there, I think it hits her a little more. And so I have become so good at holding things in until I get back in my bubble, which is at home, where I
Oh,
can let it out.
right, right. So do you have anyone that reaches out to you for, I don't know, like asking if you need anything or any law enforcement, anybody in the community, bring you food, bring you anything to just say, I'm here, anything?
I had one person a couple weeks ago. There's this group called North Carolina Helping North Carolina, where people help out, and I had spent my last money on gas and flyers, and so I was going to the food bank to get some food, and she actually had me make a list and had Walmart deliver me a little bit of groceries. But other than that, no.
See, and that's it's not like it used to be, is it? Where everybody would bring a casserole, it's this is
Yeah,
sad.
and that would be, one less thing I have to worry about,
Right,
scrounging up the money or choosing between medication or putting out flyers or,
right.
gas at church,
Well, don't
and
worry
then
about
going out
flyers.
the door.
I told you that, but don't worry about flyers. I'll send them each week. We'll get them out, so you won't have to worry about flyers for sure.
I'll make her some flyers too and send them to her if she needs them.
Awesome, Barb. You're awesome.
Yeah, and then just going out in the store is, I mean, I'll try anything to not. I'll make a list and send my daughter, or there's the where she's like, you have to get out just a little bit, and but she understands. She sees people coming up to me, and she's like, who is that? And I'm like, honey, I have no idea who that is.
I don't
Somebody
even
that's not.
go to stores anymore.
I hate it. I hate it.
It's not just that the people coming up to you, it's the trigger. I mean, with me it was
Yeah,
the triggers of the stuff you bought them, and you
yes,
in the experiences in the grocery stores, you miss those. So when I get in the
yeah,
grocery stores, a song will come over the intercom, or I'll see something that my kids always had me buy them, and
yeah.
I have anxiety about it. I start
Yeah,
crying and I get it the hell out of there.
yeah,
I do not go to the
yeah.
grocery stores anymore.
It's so hard. Or for me, it's like looking at every face. Um, there was one girl that she was bent down putting stuff in her car. She had the same body shape and skin tone. And she had hoops and her buns in her hair. And I just was waiting and waiting on her to turn around. It's looking at every face in the crowd. Just maybe, it's just always there in your head. Like maybe, I'll see her somewhere today, or um,
Aw.
somebody that looks like her, or to see a grown mother with her grown child, and they're just spending time together. That one is really painful too.
I'm sure,
I'm
Sarah.
I'm so sorry,
Sure
Sarah.
she
I found my son was found in 5 months. I'm not so sure to this day, if he wasn't found, that I wouldn't have absolutely lost my mind by now.
Yeah,
Because
what I'm
that
trying to do.
not knowing where they are is enough to drive a person absolutely I mean, just overboard, insane.
Yeah,
You will grasp for anything to get somebody to help you.
I try to stay strong for my daughter Emma and for my grandkids, and it's like if we can get through this, and once I'm not here anymore, y'all can get through anything.
Yeah.
And I just try to lead by example. And because of my illnesses, I've talked to my oldest daughter, my other daughter, and that she will take this over and keep continuing to keep Marissa's name out there and search for Marissa. And I hate for her to have to bear that weight. But somebody has got to.
Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely.
because you don't ever want to stop fighting because you love them.
Sarah, am I
Yeah,
keeping you? I know you said you had a school thing. Do you need to get off
um,
here, or are you good?
I got about 10 more minutes.
Okay. I didn't want you to forget, or I didn't want to sidetrack you. You're welcome as long as you want to. I just didn't know if you remembered.
But yeah, I've got about 10 more minutes.
Okay, good,
But
good.
people keep saying, once you find her body, you'll have closure. No, it won't, because then I'm going for justice for her. The people that have
That's
done something will pay. I'll be in that courtroom every day. I'll be, anything I can do. Um, Finding her is just the into one piece, to bring her home and
exactly.
put her at bed, and then to go after the people who done this.
Exactly. That's what happened with me. I was blessed that he was found in 5 months, but now I'm trying to get justice because I know who did what they did to my son. Um,
Yes.
you I found, well, my sister actually found True Crime Web Foundation and took my son's case to him, Mr. Steve from True Crime Web Foundation, and so he's looked into it. So I'm just waiting for the prosecutor and the sheriff to look at my son's evidence because they closed his
Yeah,
case with no answers. So that's what I
exactly.
know what you're saying. You're fighting to find them, but then it's not over. It
No,
changes a little bit because you're feeling a little bit more at ease because at least you know where they're at. That
and I
not
feel like,
no
and maybe it could save other women. Trafficking came into my mind, and the detective has told me, there's two. He still has hope, and don't lose hope. But trafficking, or they've gotten rid of her, and so I'm still trying to cling to maybe the best case scenario in this is trafficking, which is horrible, but that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, I think so too. That and it's sad. That's a sad reality, but I agree. I do.
And I've if it does go to court and there's a trial and all these things, as hard as it may be, I need to hear everything that happened to Marissa before they say it in court. That way I can, um, you
Prepare.
know, prepare myself and them not hearing these things for the first time, because I wouldn't be able to hold it together in a court. And so I would want to know everything that happened before it comes to a court. But every dream that I've had of Marissa, and every dream, she is so angry. That's why I feel like I need to find her in one way. And if she's no longer with us, I need to put her at rest and get answers for my grandkids.
Absolutely. And you deserve those answers.
and
You're
you
her
and
mother.
her kids deserve the answers to what happened to their mother. And
Yeah,
they
and
should have their mother with them, good or bad.
yes, and I sit and I think about, if Marissa doesn't make it home, my grandchildren, their children will not have her as a grandma, and how much um my youngest daughter just had a baby last month. Marissa would have been over the moon to be an aunt. And it's all those things that everybody's missing out on not having her around.
I
That's
understand. I don't understand that part. I'll just be honest because I my kids are gone. I'm not going to have any grandkids. It sucks.
it's so hard for the grandkids to just for me to have answers for them and to know the right things to say. My oldest granddaughter looks at it as, a bad man got mommy in his car and won't let her go. Um, Things like that. They kind of come up with their own. It's so hard to know the right things to say. So I just say I'm still trying. I'm still, trying to find mommy, and I've got everybody looking for her and to give them some hope.
Exactly.
But they're
But I
my
mean,
my youngest grandbabies uh are actually calling their dad's girlfriend mom, and that is just killing me right there. And I don't know how to approach that. And but my oldest granddaughter will tell her younger siblings, "Who's your mommy?" And they'll say Marissa. So I'm like, okay, they haven't forgot. They still, because they were
Oh,
3 years old and 4 years old when she went missing. They're 4 and 5. But my 11-year-old granddaughter, she kind of, reminds them. She takes pictures of them in the morning before school, and she'll say, "My mommy used to do this, so I'm doing this for my mommy." Um, she, tries to be like the little mom of the group.
do you have counseling for the kids and
Yes, they're in
yourself?
grief.
Good.
They go once a week for an hour, just to, and I hope it's helping. It has to be helping somewhat.
Are you seeing a counselor?
No, my doctor has referred me, and I have called this place several times, and they'll say, "Well, our um, worker that schedules appointments not in, so we'll call you back." They never call me back. I'm on three different anxiety and depression medications and insomnia medication. Um, but since Marissa's went missing, I haven't had any counseling.
Well, I went to counseling for a little while, but it
I
was
know
costing me a fortune.
I have full Medicaid, so it's not even. It's just the somebody getting me in and seeing me, which has been so hard, and I find that crazy. And I thought, well, maybe I should look for online counseling. Um, maybe that's a resource I could look out for. I just get so distracted with not really
It's
taking care of
overwhelming, I'm
myself.
sure. Do you feel
It,
overwhelmed?
yes, yeah,
I
just
get it.
making a phone call sometimes,
Yep.
like rescheduling an appointment or anything is just want to pay the light bill. It's just so over. It seems like so much, the littlest
Yeah.
things.
Yep, everything. I'm sure it's like so tiring. Like you can do one thing and it feels like you've worked all day because your mind is so mentally exhausted
Yes,
that you're just drained.
Oh, you forget to pay your bills.
yes, I
I mean,
had
I
that
had
happen.
my electric turned off and because I forgot to pay my bill.
I
You
that
forget to do
happened.
your daily chores.
Yeah, that happened to me last April. What I had done was I was paying the bills for the wrong month. I didn't even realize that it wasn't March anymore and it was April, and our power was turned off overnight, and then so yeah, I've gotten a little bit better at that. Um, but it seems overwhelming. Just normal everyday things. Sometimes just getting in the shower, and for
Oh
me,
yeah.
if I get out of my bed and come to the living room, and my daughter will be like, "Mom, come in here and watch a movie with us," or she tries so much to get me to not stay in my room, and I stay there because I just feel so safe. Like if I just start to lose it a little bit, I'm alone and I'm okay, and I just don't want them to see me. I'll go in the bathroom or something, so I can just kind of keep my grieving to myself and not bring them down.
Are you taking care of yourself though, Sarah? I mean, you have to
I
remember
have
to take care of
I've
you.
made I've made my last three doctor's appointments.
Good job. Good deal.
My insulin and all my
Good.
medications every day. There are days where I'll be like, "Oh, I forgot to take my insulin. I forgot to eat." Um, but I usually, I mean, I haven't been in the hospital in over a year, so that's really good for me.
Good. Good. Good.
It's really good for me.
I
And
know
then
it's
I have
I've heard that a lot, like, you forget to take care of you. You're so focused on finding justice or finding your missing child that you forget
yeah,
you.
Yeah, and
yes,
you forget to eat. You'll even
yeah.
forget to eat.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just have to force something down, or sometimes I will eat my feelings and just, it's each day is different. Each hour your emotions can just go from, sad to despair to just that gut wrenching pain where you just, you know, cry for a few hours and fight your pillow, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's just different.
like when you just be sitting there and nothing to be going on, but all of a sudden it's like somebody stabbed you right in the chest and you're going, "Oh my God, this really is my life. They're really not
Yeah,
here."
yeah. And I get so angry, like how dare they take my child from me? How dare they just take my daughter from me? She's she's mine, not, for y'all to take and do what you've done with her. Yeah, out of nowhere, whether it's a song or I know I spent one night, I wanted to smell Marissa. So I go upstairs and her clothes, her wigs, I couldn't smell her. And I lost it, and I stayed up all night that night. And then the next morning, my daughter said, "Well, Mom, I've got her lotions and her body spray in my room." So I was able to spray her clothes and get the smell of her. Um, it's just those
Yeah,
little
and they
things that
sleep with it.
shows that nobody really understands. I've got videos where I've got her voice, and I'll put the video on my TV and just close my eyes and turn it loud and act like she's right there in the room with me. Um, things like that. People just they don't, they don't understand.
And that's why I
Uh,
wanted to do this today, Sarah, is so that maybe if I could get you guys up here, then maybe we can convince some of these people pointing fingers, whispering, judgment, talking, rumor, and just to stop, you know?
yeah, yeah, it's such a help. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You
I've
don't
got to get
you
to that
don't know because you might,
school.
if you're pushing these parents that
Oh,
have
Sarah, you have to
missing
go to the
loved
school.
ones.
Oh, you have to go to the school, don't you, Sarah?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got
okay.
to
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well,
Well, I'll
thank
be
you so much.
praying for you, Sarah.
Thank you for
Thank you so
coming up
much.
here, Sarah. Anytime
And
you
if
want
you
up
want
here,
to,
let me know. Okay. You're more than
okay,
welcome.
and if you want to do this again anytime, just let me know. And if
Anytime
it's
you're ready.
anything, okay. Thank you
You're
so
more
much,
than
you
welcome.
guys.
You're welcome. You have a good time
Uh,
at the school and enjoy your day. Try to anyway.
Yes.
I will. I'll
We'll be
I'll get
praying
lots
for
of
you.
hugs. I'll get lots of hugs. That always
Oh,
helps.
good, good. All right.
Yeah.
You have a good day,
I'll,
Sarah. God bless you,
I'll
dear.
be praying for you, Barbara.
I'll be praying for you. Thank you, Sarah.
Y'all have a good day.
You
Bye
too.
bye. God love her.
Oh
Oh,
man.
uh-huh.
I
What I'm gonna do,
believe.
Barb, is I'm gonna take us down here. I'm gonna play a video on Marissa for those that aren't familiar with her, and then we'll get started on the other. Is that okay?
Okay.
All
That's
right.
great.
All right.
Misinformation and causing drama in missing persons cases hurts the family and the integrity of the case. Social media can spread false information quickly, causing unnecessary panic and diverting resources from the actual investigation. This not only takes a heavy emotional toll on the families but can also lead to legal consequences for those spreading false information. Being truthful and only sharing facts when sharing missing person cases can greatly impact the case. Verifying information before sharing is crucial. Law enforcement and media play key roles in disseminating accurate information. False leads can hinder investigations, making community support vital in finding missing persons. Families of the missing are vulnerable to outsiders and should be spoken to with compassion and the utmost respect. Misinformation can lead to false hope or despair, causing severe psychological distress. For example, some families have been misled by false sightings, leading to emotional roller coasters. The psychological impact is profound, often resulting in anxiety, depression, and trauma. Community organizations play a crucial role in offering support, providing a safe space for families to share their experiences and receive emotional support. It's essential to approach these families with empathy, understanding, and respect, ensuring they feel heard and supported. Imagine a clock, always ticking but the hands are frozen. That's what it's like for families of the missing. Each second is agony, uncertainty, a lead weight. They exist between grief and hope, a limbo no one deserves. The world moves on, birthdays pass, holidays come and go, but for these families time is a broken record, stuck on the day their loved one vanished. Sleep offers no escape, only nightmares and the cold sweat of what-ifs. Laughter feels like betrayal. They replay memories, searching for clues, for some explanation. Their loved one isn't just gone, they've vanished into thin air, leaving behind a silence that screams. Now imagine someone promising answers, offering a glimmer in the darkness, then silence, or worse, a dead end. False hope is a cruel joke, deepening the wound already carved by loss. Every unanswered phone call, every fruitless search party, every well-intentioned but empty promise adds another layer of pain. It chips away at their faith in humanity, in justice, in everything. And then there's the judgment. The whispers that maybe they did something wrong, that maybe they should just move on, as if the gaping hole in their lives could ever be filled with platitudes. The authorities, burdened by caseloads and red tape, sometimes add to the hurt. Lack of communication, slow responses, information withheld, it all feeds the monster of uncertainty. Families feel helpless, lost in a system that seems indifferent to their pain. The statistics are grim. Suicide rates among families of missing persons are significantly higher than the national average. The constant stress, the lack of closure, the feeling of being forgotten, it takes a devastating toll. But there is hope. It lives in the communities, in the ordinary people who choose empathy over apathy. We can be that hope. Share a missing persons flyer, volunteer for a search party, offer a shoulder to cry on, a listening ear. Sometimes even a simple smile and a nod of acknowledgement can make a world of difference. It tells them they are not alone, that someone sees their pain, that their loved one is not forgotten. It reminds them that even in the darkest night, a single spark of kindness can light the way. Let's be that spark. Let's choose compassion. Let's be the village that embraces those shattered by loss and helps them find the strength to keep going. Because everyone deserves to be found and everyone deserves to be heard. A mother's worst nightmare. The disappearance of Marissa Carmichael. January 14th, 2024. A date forever etched in Sarah Carmichael's mind. This was the day her daughter, 26-year-old Marissa Carmichael, vanished. Marissa, a vibrant young woman and mother of 5, was last seen at an Exxon gas station on 809 East Market Street in Greensboro, North Carolina. The day before, Marissa had enjoyed a night out with friends, first at 117 Lounge and later at an Airbnb after-party. Little did anyone know that this night of fun would precede a heart-wrenching mystery. In the early hours of January 14th, Marissa found herself stranded at the Exxon station. At 3:40 a.m., fear laced her voice as she dialed 911. She told the operator a man had taken her phone. She needed a ride home. She mentioned being asked to pick up items at the gas station. The details were fragmented, adding to the growing concern. Just 6 minutes later, another 911 call was placed, though the details of this call remain unclear. The police were dispatched at 4:19 a.m., arriving at the gas station at 4:21 a.m., but it was too late. Marissa was gone. The only clue left behind was chilling surveillance footage. It showed Marissa leaving the gas station in a vehicle. Beside her was an individual identified only as a witness. Who was this person? And what did they know about Marissa's disappearance? The unknown is a cruel tormentor. Each unanswered question deepens the wound of Marissa's absence. As days turn into weeks, and weeks into months, one question echoes in the hearts of those who love her most. Where is Marissa Carmichael? A mother's anguish. Living without Marissa. Sarah Carmichael is trapped in a nightmare. The disappearance of her daughter has shattered her world. Every sunrise is a painful reminder of Marissa's absence. Every sunset brings a fresh wave of despair. The once ordinary routines of life are now agonizing reminders of what she has lost. Sarah's days are consumed by a relentless search for answers. She scours social media, chases down every lead, and clings to the hope that her daughter is still out there. Yet the pain of not knowing is a heavy burden to bear. It manifests in sleepless nights, panic attacks, and a constant knot of anxiety in her chest. The joy has been drained from her life, replaced by an unbearable void. 9 agonizing months have passed since Marissa vanished. 9 months of birthdays celebrated without their mother. 9 months of unanswered questions from 5 children who desperately miss their mom. Their innocent pleas for her return are like daggers to Sarah's heart. How do you explain the unexplainable? How do you comfort children who yearn for a mother's embrace that may never come? The passage of time does little to ease the pain. It only amplifies the fear, the uncertainty, and the overwhelming sense of loss that permeates every aspect of their lives. Marissa is not just a name on a missing person poster. She is a daughter, a mother, a friend, a soul deeply missed by those who loved her most. A community's hope. The search continues. Marissa's disappearance has sent shockwaves through Greensboro. This close-knit community refuses to let her fade into the background. Flyers bearing Marissa's smiling face are plastered on every street corner, a constant reminder that she is still missing. Strangers have become advocates, sharing her story online and participating in search parties. The Greensboro Police Department continues to investigate Marissa's disappearance. They have released a surveillance photo of Marissa at the Exxon station, hoping someone will recognize something, anything, that could lead to her whereabouts. But so far the trail has gone cold. Despite the lack of answers, the community's resolve remains unshaken. They organize candlelight vigils, prayer circles, and fundraising events to support Sarah and her family. There's a shared belief that someone, somewhere, holds the missing piece of the puzzle. The power of community is a beacon of hope in this dark time. It's a testament to the human spirit's ability to rally around those in need. Even in the face of unimaginable tragedy, the people of Greensboro refuse to give up hope. They remain united in their determination to bring Marissa home. Every second counts. Join the search for Marissa. Marissa Carmichael is more than just a missing person. She is a mother, a daughter, a friend, and a vital part of a community that desperately wants her back. Her disappearance has left an unfillable void in the lives of those who love her. The Greensboro Police Department needs your help. No detail is too small. If you have any information about Marissa's disappearance, please come forward. Even the smallest piece of information could be the key to bringing her home. Please remember Marissa's last known appearance. She was wearing a white Tweety Bird t-shirt, blue jeans, and yellow sneakers. She has long black and blonde braids, a heart tattoo on her face, and a butterfly tattoo near her eye. Time is of the essence in missing person cases. Every second counts. If you know anything, please contact Crime Stoppers at 336-373-1000. You can remain anonymous. Every year, countless individuals vanish without a trace. Families are left with agonizing questions. The not knowing is a heavy burden. Hope for their loved one's return battles with the fear of the unknown. This vulnerability makes them susceptible to those who would exploit their pain. Scammers see opportunity in tragedy. They contact families with false information, claiming to have their loved one or knowledge of their whereabouts. They manipulate emotions, demanding money for ransoms or information. These heartless acts compound the family's suffering. Often, law enforcement lacks the resources to effectively pursue these leads, leaving families feeling lost and betrayed. Media attention can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it raises awareness and can generate leads. On the other hand, sensationalized reporting can distort facts and hinder investigations. Intense scrutiny can also re-traumatize families. Finding the right balance between public interest and responsible reporting is crucial. Families of missing persons often face judgment and blame. Whispers question their actions, fueling rumors and conspiracy theories. Misinformation spreads rapidly, especially online. These baseless accusations add immense emotional distress to an already unbearable situation. It's crucial to remember that these families deserve our empathy, not our judgment. Section 5. A call for empathy. Supporting families in the face of uncertainty. Supporting families of missing persons requires empathy and understanding. Offer a listening ear without judgment, validate their feelings. Small acts of kindness can make a world of difference. Section 6. Navigating grief's labyrinth. Understanding the emotional roller coaster. Families of missing persons experience grief differently. The uncertainty prolongs their pain. They may cycle through denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance multiple times. Be patient and recognize that their emotional responses are valid. Section 7. Practical ways to help actions speak louder than words. There are tangible ways to support these families. Help distribute flyers. Share their stories on social media. Donate to organizations that assist in searches or provide emotional support. Even a simple phone call to check in can provide comfort. Section 8. Advocating for change. Amplifying the voices of missing persons and their families. We must advocate for better resources for families of missing persons. This includes increased funding for law enforcement investigations, support services, and mental health resources. By raising awareness and demanding action, we can help ensure that these families are not forgotten. Section 9. A shared humanity. cultivating compassion and understanding. The disappearance of a loved one is a tragedy that could befall anyone. Let us approach families of missing persons with compassion, respect, and a willingness to help. By fostering a society that prioritizes empathy and support, we can make a tangible difference in the lives of those facing unimaginable loss.
Okay, Barb, we're back.
That was beautiful. You did a
Thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you. So now we'll start with the beginning, Barb. Like when you found out that Timmy was missing and how you felt at that moment and what could have helped you at that moment from creators like us. Like what could we do that could have made you a little bit made this a little bit less heavy for you?
Well, Arctic Fox was a creator. He called me first. I didn't know anything
This
about
Arctic
creators.
Fox fella, he seems like a good guy, you know.
No, he's the best. But
Well
I
then.
didn't know all I knew is that Timmy was missing. I was freaking out. Couldn't comprehend that he was even missing. The idea of somebody just vanishing, I just couldn't comprehend it. And then I was talking to my girlfriend, and she says, "Well, maybe you need to make a whole new Facebook account." So that's what I did. And I put a picture on there that said that Timmy was missing. And I started friend requesting every friend that Timmy had. And that took days because you can only friend request so many people a day on Facebook.
Right.
So you go through that, and then Arctic saw my flyer apparently and got a hold of me, and I'm like, podcast? What's podcast? So I mean, I can't say that there was any more than he could do that he wasn't doing for me already. I mean, he was there when I was breaking. I would call him in the evenings and I would just break down and cry. I It's a whole life that you would never understand unless you've had to be in that circumstance.
Right. So
It's just,
I'll ask you the same thing I asked Sarah. So did they give you any kind of resources and would that have helped you?
well, yes, because I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. All I knew is that I was talking to my neighbor when I felt that something was wrong, and I was crying, pacing the floors. And I said, I don't know what to do. She said, well, then maybe you need to call the police. So I called the police to make a missing persons report, and I called the wrong police department. But the lady there in Jefferson County, I mean, St. Louis County, she told me that she was going to send an officer out to my house. And then she called me back and she said, you're in the wrong, because I was told if you made a missing persons report, you have to make it in the county that you live in. So I did. So she called me back, told me I was in a different county. I called Jefferson County and they said, well, if you tell us where he is, we'll go look and see if he's there. I said, well, sir, if I knew where he was, I'd go look for him myself. I said, something's wrong, something's seriously wrong. And then they didn't offer or say they would do a missing persons report. So I called back to St. Louis County Police Department because the lady was so sweet to me. And she said, no, you call them back and you demand them to come to your house to make a missing persons report, because you do not have to wait no 24 hours or 48 hours. You can make a missing persons report
That's
within
right.
hours.
Yep. And you don't have to leave that station until they take one.
Right. But they did come to my house and made the missing persons report. And then I just was in a fog. You walk around, you're not believing that what is happening is really happening. So, but I'm kept calling the police station. I just wanted somebody to talk to me because I down in Fredericktown, I kept calling there because when I found out he was missing from there, I thought they would come out and look for him. Then I found
Right.
out,
Right.
then you
So
got
explain how you felt with that. Like They didn't. You called them. You thought they would start searching, and they didn't. Tell me about the emotions that you felt, because I want everyone that's listening to this to know, to try to understand. We'll never understand, but I want them to try to understand the pain of it, the whispers and all of that. Like all of that emotion that nobody knows about.
I'm sorry, it's already got me crying. The
Barb, it's
emotion
okay if you
is
can't do
that
this. It's okay. It's okay if you
no,
can't.
no, I want to do this. I think it's
Okay.
important.
Well, take your time. Don't
Uh,
overdo it.
they're your babies. You gave birth to them. How can you even think about imagining that they're gone? How do you, it's hard to even comprehend that you can't find them.
And then no transparency from the police. So again, as we hear again, you felt alone.
Oh, you're totally alone. So then you go to the police and then they won't call you back. So then when I went there, knocking on their door and they're telling me to come back to Jefferson County where I live and talk to the detective there. Why do I need to do that? He's missing here. I I that just makes me stutter talking about it. I'm sorry. It's
No, Barb,
mind
take your
blowing.
time. You don't
It's
have to
mind
apologize for
blowing
anything.
that they don't have somebody that will at least sit down and talk to you about who your loved one is. That never
Right.
happened. They didn't sit down with me and say, "Hey, who is Timmy? What kind of person is nothing?" So
Nothing at
then
all.
you're blown away from that. I
Okay.
mean,
And
there
then what's
was
what's the next thing? So they didn't come and you feel alone, you're desperate. Let's talk about the rumor mill and how that worked for you and how that hurts the whole thing. It hurts the families, it hurts the case.
well, the judgment from others. You know, you don't know what happened to them, and then you have families that get attacked by other people, and when you get attacked by these people you feel like you're gonna lose it. I mean, you that's triggering to these families that they're being judged for what they're doing or they're not doing, and they don't,
Right,
nobody
right,
knows what happened. So why are we even taking sides or comparing one to the other? Because I know that when Timmy was missing, I was so desperate to find somebody that would just help me look for him or anything, that you'll take any kind of help, and some of that help is not the best help.
right, right, exactly. So, how did you handle like, and I have this up here for a reason because every parent, all eyes are on them and everyone's pointing fingers. Emotionally, how do you handle that?
And honestly, when I would see stuff that I thought was inappropriate, I would just say to myself, okay, Jesus, this is exactly I was felt like I was being taught something, like when Jesus was on the cross and he said, just, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing, because they're blind. They don't know what they're doing. They don't. I have to think of it as not letting that bring me down, because I had other things that was more important, and their silly comments and their remarks and everything you can't let bother you, because if you do, then you're not
Right.
focused on the finding him.
But
You're
but
focused on all the others.
do you think that pushing too far though, do you think that could end up pushing a family too far? The pointing fingers, the guilt, the they did it, she did it, he did it, they did it, he's not acting right, she's not acting right, something's not right. Do you think
They're
that
already
helps or
going
hurts?
through that. They don't need somebody to tell them that, and point fingers at them that they're doing that. They're feeling guilt. They're feeling like I should have done this, or like I went to church that night. Timmy was in Fredericktown. I should have went to Fredericktown. I didn't know that Timmy was in danger. If I you have all these other like guilt things that you put upon yourself as a family member. We don't need somebody else trying to make us feel more guilty.
Do you think
That
that could
can,
push someone too far?
I think you can push them over the edge and
Do something they
try
can't
to,
take back?
they'll do a lot of things.
Okay.
I mean, if I didn't have Timmy right now, I couldn't tell you that I could be talking to you right now. When I hear
Right.
these families that go years, I can't even fathom where my mind would be. I think I would have lost my mind because the 5 months was causing me to lose my mind. I thought I stayed with my girlfriend. There was days I got up, I would be frantic looking for my glasses or didn't know where my clothes was or even taking a shower, brushing your teeth, all of it. All I thought was I got to get my stuff in the car. I got to get to Fredericktown. I'm losing everything. She was behind me, help making sure I had everything I needed because you're scattered brain. You're everywhere.
Of course.
And I
Of
could
course.
see where that would make somebody lose it to where they would like snap
So you
because
think that it's possible that, plenty of these parents could possibly lose their mind. Like they could, they're lost. They're just lost. They don't know how to act. They,
and
I
snap
mean,
and do something they shouldn't even.
see, that's my point. I'm afraid that all the pointing fingers, all the judgment, all of this, to some families, you can't push them like that. If you don't know if there's no reason to attack these families, why is it happening? I mean, we have to be better human beings. We're attacking people at their very worst of their life, the darkest moment. And what are you going to do?
Even,
Push them? I mean, really?
even if you have an opinion and of what you think happened, keep it to yourself because you really don't know the truth. So if you're pushing it on these families like that, you can cause somebody to snap. I mean, to where I don't know. I'm not sure I wouldn't have snapped if Timmy wasn't found
Right, right. Exactly.
because I've wanted to snap and he's been found.
So, has anyone called you like scamming you, all that stuff?
Oh yeah, I've had a few of those, but the last one was kind of humorous. I'll tell you that one.
Please
This
do.
guy this guy messages me on Messenger and he says, "I have your son and he's sick and he needs his mom. If you pay me 5 grand," he says, I'll release him." I said, "Well, you're an idiot." And I said, if you have my son, there's a $25,000 reward. Why would you call me for 5,000? I said I would collect the 25,000, and then he started cussing me. I just blocked him because I thought you think I'm that dumb that you think that I believe you have my son and you want 5 grand for me, and the reward's 25 grand.
Right, yeah, he was Einstein.
Yeah,
But
I
see,
mean you.
what
Well,
if you wouldn't have saw it like that, Barb? Like, do you think that all of this stuff these people are doing, I mean, that really could have sent you over the edge, couldn't it?
oh, absolutely. I leaned on God though. I there's a scripture that I sat on and I read it daily. I told everybody daily that it's Romans 8:28, and means a new beginning. And that scripture says that he works all things out for our good, those who honor and love him. And I have to still believe, and did that every day, believe that something good had to come out of this because when I was at the courthouse, people would say, it's been 5 months. You probably need to leave. I said, no, God told me he was going to be found. I'm not going nowhere. I know he's going to be found.
So did you also get the every time somebody walks up to you, well, he's probably passed away, you should probably move on. Did you get all that too?
Oh, yes. But I
And how
knew
did
that.
you
I knew he was
without
passed away.
yeah, but I mean, what if you didn't? Do you think that could have set you over the edge?
Oh, absolutely.
So how would you approach someone with a missing child now?
Just love on him, support him.
Listen, maybe just listen, hug them.
Yes.
So next, let's talk about judgment. Did you feel a whole community judged you, a person judged you, and what can we do as creators to help families like yours, like Sarah's? What can we do better to help you guys?
Instead of judge who we are or who the parent is of any lost person, I believe that we shouldn't judge anything about their lifestyles or anything, because you don't know. You don't know. And when they're in that condition, you don't know what they'll do. I mean, you just,
Were you ever in fear for your life?
oh, yeah. But then I don't know. I look at fear in a different way. I have nothing to lose, so I don't fear anything.
Right, but I mean,
And
at first you weren't, but now that's now.
I
But in
was
the beginning, you
fearing that
were a
he was
mess.
not going to be found, and how was I going to live my life? And there's no way I can move on. He's out there somewhere, and Michael's gone, and I know Timmy wanted to be there with Michael. If when he passed someday, he talked about it. He was going to that cemetery a lot, seeing his brother. So I was so desperate to find him. I would have done anything, anything. I was on their Facebook pages every single night. I would sit on them pages till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. People would say, "What is she doing about all hours of the night?" Because I was looking at all that stuff just for any kind of clue of something.
Of course, yeah. So I know this is going to be hard, but so let's go over the emotions of you don't know which way you're coming, going. I know you've talked about how you've forgotten things, but have you done like it like be somewhere and not remember how you got home, or I know you lost keys and all of that, but let's talk about the raw stuff, like the moment of silence in the evenings, and how if somebody could be a little bit more kind or have a little bit of empathy may have made that day for you a little better.
just knowing that somebody cared, because sometimes you feel like that's your baby, nobody cares about them, they didn't matter, you don't matter, nobody matters, the world's just going on with their lives, and you're sitting wondering. I
So it was panic from the time you wake up to to the time you closed your eyes.
Absolutely, and then you'd wake up wishing you didn't wake up.
Right. Then there's the bargaining. Take me instead. You
Yeah,
know.
please, God, just bring it back. You can have
Yeah.
me. Why didn't you
Yeah.
take me? Why did I get left
Yeah.
behind? I don't
I
want to
did that
be
too.
here.
Yep. I did that too.
And
Yep.
then
I
it's
did.
like, well, God, every night I pray, please don't wake me up. Please, I don't want to wake up again. I don't want to wake up to this nightmare. And then you wake up that morning and the nightmare's still there. And you're like, how am I going to get through this day now?
So really, there's no second one day you didn't think about it, or still,
I,
right?
I still think about it in my sleep. I think about, well, yeah, he was found now, but just as she was saying earlier, then you go to the justice part and you don't sleep. You're investigating and thinking about what everybody has said to you, everything you've seen 24 hours a day. It never goes away.
And it's still like that even now, right?
Yes. I get up every day and then I just look at my kids' pictures and I go, okay, God, please give me the strength to get through this day, because they're not here anymore. And I know I'll see them again someday, but it doesn't help me having to live on earth. Can't you take me, please, too? I feel left behind, to
Right.
be honest.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So no, don't listen. This is what this is about. We knew it was going to get raw and it was going to be emotion. And you're doing so well, Barb. But if anytime this is too much, I'm telling you, we'll
Oh,
end this.
no, this is very important to me. I think this is a wonderful idea for people to know what a
Yeah.
person that has a missing child actually feels like when they're missing in the middle of it. It's
Right.
you're everywhere. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
your thoughts and mind is. Although I almost ran over myself one time getting out of the car to put a poster up. I jumped out of the car with my stapler to put a poster up and forgot to put my car in park and almost ran out over myself. You're all over the place, Doodlebug. I mean, it's nuts.
So you act completely out of character. I mean,
Oh yeah, you're everywhere. Your thoughts and everything. All you're so desperate to find the person that that's all your head's on. You don't think about like I should have put the car in park before I
right.
opened the
So you
door and
have,
almost ran. And then I'm chasing my car, almost got
oh
ran
my
over
God.
by my car. I
Oh my
mean,
God, Barbara.
and
Oh.
pumping gas and forgetting that you just all those little things that you do on a
And
regular basis, you forget.
that's why I ask you that, like, totally out of character. So as we see missing person cases, we see missing children, and drama starts, and everybody's pointing fingers. Do you think that that is destroying parents?
Oh, absolutely.
What can we do better?
Just support them and get their loved ones stories out. That's what matters is their loved ones. They just are desperate to find their loved ones. We
So it's completely normal for them to look like they're completely losing their mind and completely out of character. So
Oh,
us
because well
judging them
you
and us
are out of
judging
character.
them for the way they grieve or how they act or what, they look like they're doing this, that's wrong, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, because you are out of character. Your baby's missing. I don't care how old they are. I gave birth to him. He's mine. Nobody has a right to take him. Just like nobody has the right to take any of these mothers' kids.
And
And
none of us have the right to judge a parent of a missing child when we have no reason either, do we?
well, you don't have no reason because you don't know.
Right.
You don't know
Right.
what they're going through. Everybody, you're not even yourself. There's nothing about you that's you. When I sit back, when Timmy was found, and I sat back, I thought, oh my God, how did I get through that? How did I do that? I did things I don't even remember I did just to try to get his name out. You're so
Right.
desperate just for people to see the face, see the missing person. That's all that matters is the missing person.
Right.
If I
Right.
mean, if you believe in your opinion about a parent, doesn't matter right now.
Right. Yep. Yep. I agree, Barb.
I mean,
So
all you want is it good or bad. All you want is your loved one back home with you, so he's in your possession.
right.
Even if it's
Sure.
skeleton remains, you still want them. They're
Of course you want
yours.
them. That's yours.
They're
That's
your
your baby.
babies.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I agree.
So it doesn't do any good to say anything to these parents that make them feel bad when they're already in such a emotional state that it's easy, I would believe, to make somebody go overboard because I know how I felt within just 5 months. These
See, that's my
people that
worst
have their
fear.
loved ones missing for years, I don't know if I would be talking to you right now if Timmy was still missing.
Right. Right. See that's kind of why I wanted to do this today. And I'm so glad that Sarah got to come up and say her part. I know she couldn't stay long, but I feel like you guys just don't feel like you're heard. And I don't know. I just wish we could change that. We've got to do better as a community on how we look at each case and realize that words hurt, but when you do all this, you could very well judge somebody that's losing their mind because they're in grief, and grief can destroy you.
Oh, if people saw some of the things I did, I've actually pulled out in front of people accidentally because you're all over. I mean, I'm telling you, your mind is just focused on the person that you love and finding them. All the other stuff, you don't even know what you're doing sometimes.
Right, right.
like I said, when I almost ran over myself, I got back in the car and I just broke down and cried. It's like, oh,
Yep. Right.
and then
And
thought,
those
well, maybe I
emotions.
should have let the car run over me. Then I wouldn't be going through
No,
this
no,
misery.
we're not doing that
But I
stuff.
mean, you go through, I'm just saying that because
I
that's
know.
all the thoughts that you go through.
I know. I know. Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying I get it. I
Because
can't
you're like,
I
well,
can't
if the
fathom it.
car would have ran over me, maybe I would have just died and I wouldn't have to live here wondering because I would see him again.
Right. And you saying that you would pray to God to just take you, like, why am I alive? You took, my kids are gone. Why am I here? And that's part of the grief deal. It is. But at the same time, I want people to hear that that's exactly how these parents are feeling. Like, they don't care if they see another day because they don't want to live another day without their child. And I think that is so important. We need to, as creators, think about stuff like this before we just get up here and we show this one and that one and this kid's missing. We'll look at this mom and that mom and let's put everything out about their address, their name, their background. Let's show where they live, how close to water that is. That's damaging. There could be
Or,
other children in the homes. You're
or,
doxing their address. We got to be better.
or where was this mom? Why was that kid there?
Yeah, we
No,
can't
no,
judge
no,
that. We
please
can't. We
don't
can't.
go
Yeah,
there. Don't go there. Please don't go there. Let's just look at the baby and look for the baby. That's what's important, or the kid, or the even, Timmy was an adult, but it didn't hurt any less.
right, right. Well,
Regardless, it's still they're
they're just
everything. Your
yeah,
babies
and
are everything.
I think the main point for today's live is that whether you're a creator or not, we really have to take a step back sometimes and realize before we start pointing those fingers exactly what we're pointing at when we know zero. It's very important. And I can think of 5 different cases, but this isn't about that. It's just the idea of how we're presenting and words hurt. Words can hurt worse than you think. You can heal from a lot of things, but I would rather get my butt kicked and heal that way physically than words like you're worthless or whatever. So it's hard to heal from stuff like that. And I
Well,
just wish that
words can
hopefully
tear you down or
somebody
lift you up.
they can, but at the same time, I hope if one person in this chat can took anything out of this today is maybe just before you point your finger, just try to think about putting yourself in that person's shoes before all of that.
You can have your opinion, but you
Right,
don't have to put it out there. You
right.
can
That's
feel
true.
any way you want to feel, but please don't put it out there to these parents that have to hear it.
Kindness
Because
will
right
go a
now
long
they're
way.
about to lose their minds.
Right, right. Well, Barb, we've almost been on here 2 hours, but what would you say to another missing family? Like if you could talk, not any certain one, but what would you say to someone that's missing their child? Your message to them, and I'll mute.
My message to anybody that's missing a child, first of all, hang on to your faith, because that's all there is to hang on to. And hug them and let them know that they're not alone. That's the most thing I can say, is keeping their faces out there and be kind. Be kind to these parents.
And what would you say to the parents about like what to do when they do see all these chats with all the negativity, the trolls, the pointing fingers? What would you how would you guide them? Like what advice would you have for them?
I would have, well, what I did was I just looked at him like I said, like when Jesus is on the cross and he says, you know, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. I just look at it like they don't know what they're doing. I forgive them. I'm not going to let myself get caught up in that grieving drama stuff. I have more important things to do, and that was find my son. I ain't got time for the mean, judgmental things, because that could have been done if Timmy was younger and they came in our house and they judged us. We would have been slandered all over the place from stuff that shouldn't have been even talked about. It was what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do. All right. Well, Barb, I guess that's probably it. I've heard you cry and now I'm feeling bad. I'm so sorry. I
No,
knew it was
no,
going to be
no.
raw, but it needed I just wanted I want the public to see the raw emotion and how much damage can be done just by judgment.
Right. And well, honestly, I don't even know how I survived that. And to think that these families are going years without finding their loved ones, I just can't even imagine. And I've lost both of my kids, and I can't imagine what they're going through years and years and not knowing where their loved ones are. It's
Oh, exactly.
heartbreaking.
It is. It is. I want to thank everyone for joining us today.
Yes, thank
I know
you.
I didn't greet each and every one of you, and I apologize. I will now. We have Marion. Thank you, Marion. Thank you for all your support for your sister. You're
Thank you,
amazing.
Mary.
Also, you guys are quite a family. Peggy, thank you for joining us. James, thank you.
Thank you, Arctic.
It's nice to see James Mullen coming in here more. Great.
And
I'm so happy
Peggy.
to see you. Yep, Peggy and Arctic Fox,
Uh
Kimber.
huh.
I think Dago was in here for a little
Yeah,
bit. We
Mina
have
Monsters was in here for a minute. I saw
Stormy,
her.
Mike, yeah, Stormy, Mikey, Cap. Thank you for joining, Cap. I appreciate
Yes.
you being here.
Thank you all for
Um,
your support in these
who I know
families.
I've missed, yeah, especially with these families for
Oh,
sure.
Molly. Thank you,
Molly,
Molly.
yep, I'm going up in chat. I'm so far behind. AR, thank you so much for being here and thank you for the support. And I will definitely email you some flyers as soon as this is over. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Tree Nut, I know I seen Cherokee Cherry. Um, I think that might be it. Wisdom, of course. I can't forget my mama Wisdom.
Yeah.
Um, I think oh SRB. Sorry
Yes.
guys. I really should have
Yes.
greeted. It's just Sarah was on a limited amount of time. She had a school deal, so I was trying to let her have her voice before anything before she had to
That's
leave.
why I muted because I knew she was on a timeline.
Yeah. Oh, and Leslie and Billy. She's always here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie. You're always here, honey. Mom. Thank you, Mom.
Captain.
Mom's always here. Yeah, everybody. I have such a great following here. Just James Tate,
Yeah.
thank you. Brutally, thank you, Brutally. You
Yes.
guys are
Thank
amazing.
you all.
Guys, some of you are here every single time, and it warms my heart so much because I never would have thought that. I didn't even when I started this, I thought there's no way I'd have two people. Mark and Betty, of course, they're always here. Thank you, Mark and Betty, for always being here.
Well, the reason I haven't done any lives on the Timmy's Legacy is because
And Miranda,
I'm
thank you,
waiting
Miranda.
for some things.
Oh yeah, yeah, and and definitely like it won't.
And I don't want to get on there and tell things and then be, oh, I
Yeah.
can't say this, I
Mhm.
can't say that. So I've been kind of holding back on that. And then with it being the 28th, 3 years, it was
Right.
rough.
Well, Paula Fitzhenry, our beautiful Paula.
Yeah, Paula.
I think I got everybody now, but if I missed it, Lazy Limbo, I see Lazy Limbo, Jenny or Jessica, sorry, Duolingo's kid. Guys, if I missed anyone, I do apologize. I really do. It's just I wanted Sarah to be able to jump on as fast as she could and say her part before it ended because she had to go to school. But thank you all for joining us. I hope this at least makes a difference to one of you before you judge or point. And it's hard. And I know I've done it too. We're all guilty of it, all of us.
Yes.
But at the same time, maybe we shouldn't voice it.
I had
And
it happen to me, Doodlebug, and I'm guilty of it. I have my opinions and I suspicious of stuff, but
sure,
everybody does. But that doesn't make it okay to say anything. Just put the flyer out and show the missing person so they can be seen and found.
I agree, Barb. And the judgment part of it is so scary because listen, when you have a missing child, they know they've messed up somewhere. Their child's missing. We don't have to remind them. But a little bit of kindness can go so long, and you really don't know what everyone's going through. Even that person at the store you can't stand, you know what? You don't know what's going on in their life. Maybe you just
Right.
avoid them. If you can't be nice, why not just avoid them?
Right.
But
Like
thank
when
you all.
Timmy was missing, Doodle, and
Mhm.
I would go out places.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be hard to be around people because they are judging you or looking at you a certain way that, and then start talking about your loved one
Right. Of
and
course, it helps,
starting to
Peggy.
dog the
Every
loved
share
one
helps,
that's
Peggy.
missing. It's like,
Yeah, and we have to do better. We do. We need to
I
all just
don't care what a person has done. Nobody has the right to take somebody else's life. Period.
I
No,
agree.
I don't care what lifestyle you're in or who you are. You still don't have the right to do that and take somebody from a loved one. It's wrong.
I agree. I definitely agree
And then
100%.
when you're bad mouthing the person that's missing because of their lifestyle, well, some of these people's lifestyles, I don't think Timmy knew he was in danger. Some of
Right.
these some of these young people put themselves in dangerous situations. They don't realize that they do, and bad things happen. It doesn't mean they were bad people.
No, they're young. Listen, we've all done young, dumb stuff. I have. I'll be
I
the first
went
to admit it.
I went to parties when I was 25 years old. Who didn't?
Exactly.
Who
Exactly.
did not go out dancing at 25?
I've been known to cut a rug or two. I mean,
I love dancing. I went out every weekend on Friday and Saturday night with my friend Joanne just to dance.
see?
So we'd have water with a lemon in it. We just like dancing,
There you go.
and
Well,
it's good
guys,
exercise.
thank you so much. My kiddo's home, so I'm going to have to end the stream. But Barb, thank you so much for joining me today. And I
Thank
know
you
this
for
was
having
raw,
me.
and I appreciate you so much. You know that I love you, and I'm sorry that it was emotional for you. But I think that for the public to hear that emotion and Sarah's emotion, even if one person steps back before they judge, then it's a success. So I love you,
Yeah,
girl.
let's just get the missing people's pictures
That's
out there.
right. Yep, yep.
I
'Cause
love you and thank
I
you. It
love
was an
you too.
honor to be here. Thank you,
It was an
Arthur,
honor to
Dad,
have you up here,
Peggy,
Barb.
everybody. I love you guys. You
And
became
we love
my
you, Barb.
family.
Yep.
All right.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye.
Does anyone understand? Does anyone lend a hand? When the silence starts to bite, will you join me in this fight? Can you see them in your dreams? Can you hear their desperate screams? A heartbeat lost in the night. Oh, will you help me be their voice? In the darkness let's rejoice, 'cause together we